In this video, I want to address something about cryptocurrencies that I haven't heard anyone else talking about, and I find that astonishing because the likelihood of it happening is staring us all right in our faces. It is simply this. Does anyone really think that once the central banks issue their own central bank digital currency, the governments are going to allow their competitors to continue to exist? I think not. I am the Philosopher King 2.0. Like and subscribe and hit the notification bell. Now, all governments hate competition, and you just know that the central banks are salivating at the success of the cryptocurrency miracle. They don't want just a piece of the action, they want the action, if you get my meaning. If they could, they would take over the whole crypto market. Here's the bad news. They can. My guess is they'll start out with some national CBDCs, but trust me, they are already thinking about a single global digital currency, and during the rollout of the national CBDC, they'll be laying down the groundwork for integration with one global currency at the same time. And I think that's the desired end game, even if there are some countries that won't play ball. Now, many people might not know this, but there was a time in the United States when it was illegal to own gold. Now, that sounds like tyranny to me, but hell, recent history seems to show that plenty of Americans love them some tasty tyranny. The idea that they would ban Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies with the US government's track record, that's 100% plausible. Here's the way I think it'll go down. The Federal Reserve is going to get caught with its pants down, and everyone and their mother will know that our country has so much debt the country can't survive. The US dollar, if not all the other fiat currencies of the world too, except perhaps the BRICS folks, will be perceived as worthless. They'll be churning out dollars Zimbabwe style to keep things afloat, and then one Sunday there will be an announcement. All the banks will be closed for a few days, or even a week, as they roll out the new US CBDC on an emergency basis. Problem solved. Hey, they had to do it, their hands were forced. The banks will then be reopened with citizens receiving new CBDCs on a 1-to-1 correlation, unless of course they are deemed rich, in which case they can expect to take a haircut, maybe receiving only 10 cents to the dollar. But the regular folks are going to get their one CBDC for $1 or they'll riot and hunt down and kill the bankers, and the bankers know it, so that's why the regular folks are going to get the fair treatment. At any rate, folks will have a certain amount of time to exchange their paper fiat for the CBDC, after which the paper will be deemed worthless. Which, well, strictly speaking, it already is. How it plays out from there depends on a few things. But I posit that if there's a giant upsurge in use of other cryptocurrencies at the expense of the CBDC, the governments are going to look unkindly on that. And the more it seems that the population is slow to adopt the CBDC, the more likely it is they'll ban the cryptos. Understand me, it won't matter if it is really the case that it's the crypto's fault. There might not even be a slow adoption of the CBDCs. It's just a pretext. And most of the sheeple will go along with it. Because banning the cryptos, in my opinion, is the plan right from the start. Another pretext might be there could be a few more crypto exchanges that go under. And that would be the pretext too. You got to protect the citizens from themselves. When all you need is a pretext, any pretext will do. Here's another plausible and, in my opinion, likely pretext. A lot of people are going to be pissed off about the CBDC and are not going to want to participate in the system at all. They'll turn to the cryptos, barter, gold and silver or whatever. It is entirely possible that the government will ban them all. Because only criminals use currencies that can't be tracked, right? So to combat criminals, the non-CBDC currencies will have to be shut down. That's how it'll be sold. And the public will eat this up because a solid 60% of the public are idiots. I'm fairly certain that we will quickly discover that the anonymity of the cryptocurrencies isn't as anonymous as was hoped. And that leads to another serious problem I have with the cryptocurrencies, but I'm going to save that for another video. Still, I am certain that big tech is going to be super cooperative in helping to identify cryptocurrency traffic on the internet and shutting it down, and equally helpful in helping the governments track down who tried to use the cryptocurrencies in the first place. So basically, we're all When will this happen? Well, I think they're closer to being able to do it than they're letting on, but it's dangerous to try to predict these things. So I'm going to suggest instead that you just look for certain signs. So one sign that we're already seeing is central banks are continuing to accumulate huge amounts of gold, even after years of just missing it. That in itself is a sign. Another one is if the US dollar goes into free fall, or if the narrative ramps up that the national debt has brought us to an untenable position and the status quo cannot go on, and the Federal Reserve has to do something radical. If they start talking like that, I'd be on my guard. Make sure you have some instant liquidity available, or you might go hungry that week. You might want to go to the grocery store before everybody else does and stock up. So should you own any crypto at all if you think this is what is coming? Well, this is what I do think is coming. I do think they're going to ban it. And yet I do own some crypto. Personally, I suspect that the World Economic Forum's backing of XRP might be the precursor to the global CBDC, so I own some Ripple in anticipation. You can tell me in the comments what you think of that. I own physical silver, and as I shared in my video about silver and Kinesis, the digital gold exchange, I prefer physical silver but digital gold, and you can check out those videos for more about my perspective. Now, this isn't investment advice. I'm just telling you what I'm doing. I've largely divested from the stock market, have small crypto holdings, and a couple of months worth of cash. I shifted the bulk of my investments into real estate. Personally, I believe a day is coming when a tomato is going to be worth more than a wheelbarrow of US dollars. So I started a produce farm on my property. I'd have a healthy supply of barter items on hand too. I know I do, and I'm planning a video on that as well. Now, the broad outlines of the future seem pretty straightforward to me, but the details are obscure. So I counsel, even if just for myself, diversification, diversification, diversification. So what do you think? Do you think the government is going to ban cryptocurrencies once the CBDCs are launched? If not, why not? And if the governments do it, can the cryptocurrencies survive? I'm skeptical, but I am open to hearing what you think. I'm the Philosopher King 2.0. Like and subscribe, hit the notification bell. This is an important conversation we need to have. I hope you have it with me. Thanks for watching.